Right.
So how directional do I need to be with this thing?
Just speaking to the flat part right there.
Just speaking in the flat bit directly?
Yeah.
What about singing? Do we do that?
You can. We're probably streaming right now. I'm not sure what the streets are.
Look, there we go. We got one cuss word.
Oh, we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to RVAsec 2022. My next guest, what's your name, sir?
My name is Clem Spriggs. I work for Tanium.
And what's the name of your website?
Tanium.com. Pretty simple.
Now, that's a very cool name, by the way. I hear a lot of names in my business. That's a cool one.
Well, thank you. Yeah, our founders said when you ask him why Tanium, he said, well, it wasn't taken as a URL, and it's like, sounds like titanium, which is really strong.
That's what I thought. That's right.
But then everyone, first meeting, someone's going to say, oh, so the titanium product, and that's when you just...
Oh, well, okay, that's true.
But it's like Google. What's a Google? No one really knows what Google is. Well, it's a number, though, I think.
What does Yahoo stand for? You're too young to know that, but I was there when they invented it.
I don't know.
You always have other options.
You always have other options?
That's what the two college kids, when they started, that's what they named it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good pushback on anyone who's complaining about the product, right?
That's right.
You've always got other options.
Well, tell us what you guys do.
So we're in the endpoint security and management space. So the description of Tanium becomes so broad. If I did this, we'd probably run out of time. But think about any time you want to control an endpoint, anytime you want to see an endpoint, get data back from it, and understand that endpoint. So I mean, anything from, on one end of the spectrum, EDR, on the other end of the spectrum, asset discovery, patching, software deployment. So very, very broad solution.
So what makes it different, though? Because a lot of people talk about endpoint solutions. Why is yours different?
Yeah, great question. So one, what I've already covered, the breadth of the solution. So one agent that replaces so many other solutions.
Right.
I'm sure our viewers out here are suffering from agent fatigue. So that's one of the really big use cases is just why have a compliance solution and a vulnerability scanning solution and an asset management solution all with their own agents when you can have one. So that would be one point. And the other one would be the visibility, the speed that you get the responses back. We have customers with their endpoints numbering in the millions, and the hashtag is 15 seconds or less. So, I want to know every installed application on 1.5 million endpoints. Go. How long does it take you to get that information in something you can use?
So your real time is 15 seconds. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
For a million.
Now, I'm going to be honest. When I saw it operating on 1.5 million seconds, it was really 30 seconds. But, 30 seconds to get back that much data from that many endpoints globally spread.
What was it 5 years ago? Real time was a couple days. Remember?
Well, we were still doing it back then.
Yeah.
We started in 2007.
Oh.
Yeah, so Tanium's been around.
2007, you should be in the Smithsonian Institute. That's a legacy company.
Just about is now. I think the company was founded in 2007. They spent 3 years developing the product, so 2010-ish was when the product was actually
I had my first computer in 1984. You probably weren't even born yet.
Oh, I was... How old do you think I am? I think you're being generous. There's a lot of grey hair in the stubble here.
So here's a good question. How does Titanium help deal with emerging issues like the MS Support Diagnostic Tool vulnerability released last month? I had to read that because I couldn't remember it.
So yeah, it's a really interesting use case for Tanium. Anytime that there's something that's a 0-day, people turn around and go, well, you're going to get your vulnerability scanner. Well, what if there's not a checkout for that yet? The Tanium visibility concept that we have allows you to ask a question. Now, I believe that particular question was a registry key that would indicate that you had that vulnerability.
Right.
So with Tanium, you literally ask a question saying, does this registry key exist? True, false. There you go. Now you've got a list of every computer name that's got that. Oh, you can go ahead and click on the little button next to true, and now I can go and target them all with an action. So that's the visibility and control parts of Tanium. So one of the great things that Tanium did recently was we added a feed. So we've got a bunch of geeks, every company does, and they were always writing community articles. So we want to help our customers be able to use Tanium more. Well, not everyone always saw those community articles because let's face it, we've all got busy jobs.
Right.
Yeah. So we put a feed now in the tool that has every time we've released a new one, there's a new 0-day out there. There's a shortcut, click on it.
That's a great idea.
It's got a way of asking that question of your environment and a way to mitigate it because they probably haven't put a patch out yet for it because it takes a month to do that. So yeah, that's just a little thing that we do to try to help our customers more.
Now, for someone that hasn't heard what your company does, what are some new things you're doing? What's your innovation?
Yeah, so new things that we've done. That feed was one of the things that we just introduced. The other thing that we're really known for is that real-time data. So being able to get the data from you guys, from your endpoints, and bring it back into somewhere. And what we used to do was have integrations, and we have lots and lots of integrations, and we have modules specifically designed to help push data into your Splunks and your CMDBs, your ServiceNows, those kind of things. But now we thought, well, why are people pushing data into a data lake? It's just a big database. Why don't we store that for them? So we're developing some really fun analytics in there.
They weren't storing it before?
Well, how much data do you want to store?
I save everything. But I don't have I can't even know what's bigger than a petabyte, but I don't have that kind of storage. I get it.
It really came down to how do we store it smarter. Now, we could get really geeky, but we probably don't have time on the clock here. But we have some super smart ways of storing that data super efficiently in the same way that we communicate efficiently.
Right.
When Tanium gets that installed applications from the million of endpoints, we're not bringing back all that data.
But if you could, and you archived it, and you ran an analysis through it, and you did some data mining, you might find something that you had no idea was there. I know it's impractical to save it, but think of what value it might have 10 years from now.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing, and that's something we came out with a little while ago. So we don't have the analysis engine. Now, that's not our expertise.
Right.
We try to stay within our lines. Our expertise is getting data from an endpoint and controlling that endpoint.
Okay.
So we turned to Google Chronicle for that one because it's cheap storage.
Well, that's true, yeah.
So that's one of the capabilities we have is an integration with them, not only from the Tanium console, so you collect the data back from Tanium, but also in our EDR solution to be able to stream that directly off the endpoint straight into something like Google Chronicle to allow you to capture all that telemetry. So,
right.
Yeah, another use case that we've got there.
All right, beautiful. Give us your name one more time.
Clem Spriggs.
Now, that is another great name.
Yeah.
Clem Spriggs of Tanium. It's a great combination.
It's unique.
It is unique.
Yeah.
No, I listen to thousands of people speak, right? And once in a while I hear something that's different. So, good luck to you, my friend.
All
You
right.
got a lot of good positive energy, a lot of high energy. Give them a call and check them out. Back here in a minute,
All right, thanks a lot.
RVAsec. You take us up. I'm too tired.
Is your turn?
No, you take us out. So you say, back in a minute here at Jake's conference. Go ahead.
What have I got to say again?
You're going to close. Back
I'm
in a minute.
going to do the close?
Back in a minute, RVAsec 2022.
Oh, you better edit out all this mess up in between. So we're at RVAsec here in Richmond, Virginia, and we'll be back to you in a second.
Beautiful. All right. Thanks, buddy.
That was fun, man. That was fun. Do I need to turn this off or?
No, it's fine.